And this week is National Fire Prevention Week. Most house fires start in the kitchen. Sergeant Jason Cups with the Prattville Fire Department joins us in our kitchen here in the studio to share some safety tips. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for the opportunity.
What's the number one mistake people make when it comes to cooking and fires?
Leaving food on the stove and forgetting about it. Either walking away, we're so distracted either by our devices or someone gives us a call and we step away and we forget that we have the food on the stove. Some people even leave the house and that's before you know it, there's a fire.
Some people even fall asleep.
Yes. So fall asleep, come home. If you've been out late at night and come home, you want to eat something before you go to bed. If you've been drinking alcohol for any reason, these are all things that play into, and it's actually one of the leading causes of fire in our area and the whole river region.
So walk us through some safety tips to prevent fires when it comes to cooking.
Sure. So right off the bat, the way that these pots are set up, we want to make sure all the handles are turned inward. That way, if we've got little ones running by or like a rambunctious pet or something that could hit the pot, knock it over, knock the hot food off, we want to avoid any burns. So we want to make sure they're turned inwards at all times. We want to keep it free of keep the cooking area free of any kind of material that would catch fire. Food packaging, paper towels, rags that we use to clean up with or anything. Nothing too close to the heat source where it would catch fire.
A lot of people will leave like a rag like this or the paper towels like this. I have a gas stove at home, so when I light that gas stove, all the burners start to flicker.
Right. So especially with the gas stove, where you can see the open flame, you should drive that home a little bit more to keep those things away from it and just kind of keep it safe for just to prevent anything like that. If we're cooking with grease or cooking anything searing at a high temperature, just always be mindful of that. Never walk away and leave it unattended. If it does happen to boil over for any reason and start a fire, one of the easiest ways that you can put out that fire is by cautiously walking up and just sliding a lid over that, and that will smother. Fire has to have oxygen to continue, and if we can smother that fire out, then it'll put itself out. Turn the eye off and just step away. Let the pot cool down before you try to move it, and let it cool down before you remove the lid so we don't reintroduce fresh oxygen to that fire. What
about if a paper towel or a cloth catches fire? What should you do?
Something like that catches fire, just try to knock it away if you can. Just keep it away. If for any reason anything happens around the burning area that you're overwhelmed or afraid of, some people keep a fire extinguisher nearby, maybe a pantry or under the sink if that's accessible. If not, if you panic for any reason, always get out, stay out. Call 911 if it's something that you don't feel that you can handle.
Cooking with something like this probably
right. No, we want to make sure that's actually one of the points they put out this year. So this year's campaign is focusing on cooking safety. Loose fitting clothing like that is not ideal, obviously, for cooking or grilling or anything like that.
What's the difference if you have a fire on the stove versus the oven?
Right, so in the oven, it's already contained. So if we do see a fire in the oven or the microwave for some reason, just leave that door closed and turn off the heat source. Don't open it. Don't let that fresh air go in there and spread the fire out. Keep the door closed. If you have an extinguisher handy, great. If not, then it should put itself out. And then if it continues to spread, call 911 and we're on our way.
Yeah, if you have any concerns, just go ahead and call 911. You mentioned cooking with grease. Another like TikTok or social media trend I've seen is people draining the grease with a paper towel. So they'll stick a paper towel in that hamburger meat and drain that grease off, and then toss that hot grease in the garbage can. What do we need to remember when putting hot food or hot, cloths in the garbage can?
Another horrible idea by TikTok, right? Like great in practice, but great on a video, but not in practice. We don't want to put any kind of paper or flammable material near a really hot source of something. That sounds like an awful recipe, Now, I would avoid that at all costs. When you're disposing of anything hot, always let it cool off. Same thing with grilling. Always let your coals or ashes cool off before you dispose of them to prevent any kind of fire.
You mentioned turning these around so no one knocks them off, but we also have to worry about burns, especially when you have children in the kitchen.
We do. So that's an important part about keeping them turned in. NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Agency, recommends keeping a kind of a kid-free zone. Don't let the little ones in. If you have to walk away from your food for any reason, turn off the burner. Or if you're cooking something, set a timer. We have these smart devices. We have the Google or Alexa in the house. We have our smart devices. It's as simple as saying, "Hey Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes," and just sit your phone down. And that way you don't forget about you have a reminder. You don't forget about the food, and it become a problem later.
Is this a great time to go over that fire safety plan with your children in that escape route?
Yes, absolutely. So while we're focusing on cooking safety, it's not all about that. Obviously, we still want to tell you to make sure you have working smoke alarms in every room of your house. Develop and practice a fire escape plan with your family, which includes having 2 ways out of each home, knowing where to go when you get out of the home, like a meetup place, like a mailbox, a neighbor's yard, a tree, somewhere away from the fire, but make sure everyone's accounted for, and never go back in. Get out, stay out. That way whether it's a pet or your favorite toy or something like that. We don't want anyone going back in the house. And just know that we're on our way. If you are trapped in the fire for some reason, especially with children needing that we can pass along, yell out, call out as loud as you can. We come in and we're going to find you and get you out there.
Sergeant Jason kept some great reminders. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.